2 weeks ago, I was sitting on a couch in my living room in Sydney, Australia, and I was helping my daughter with her homework. This is when I got the message, actually a good dozen of messages, from a curator of TEDx that I have known for a while. And it was like, "Hey, Yana," the first one. And then, "You know what?" And then, "Do you feel like you want to speak at like TEDx stage?" And then, "In Yerevan, Armenia." And then, "In 2 weeks, actually." And the last one, like, "Why not? It's a good idea, right? Think twice." Actually, Sydney is pretty far from Yerevan, Armenia. And moreover, to be completely honest, it's pretty far from everything in the world. And I was like, it's not the best time right now. 100% it's not the best time. I haven't traveled from Australia for 5 years, first of all. Then we have a lot of projects just on the go. We have a big fundraising campaign in progress. We have a lot of family plans. We have recently got a puppy. What else? Like, tickets cost a fortune. I can't do that. Why not? Like, I bought the tickets the same night to Yerevan, Armenia with my new Australian passport. I did it, and then I will never regret it. I'm the one who works with people. As a community manager and a community builder, I'm studying and creating connections between people in different countries and in different cultures for 15 years now. And I know that in this audience, there are people who are actually connected by myself, and we have never seen each other before that. What I know as well is that at the moment, the people who are going to watch the recording of this, some of them actually also were connected in my communities. And it's such a blessing to be somewhere there, even without being there. And what I've noticed, I want to share one principle with you, which I believe is really important. I'm just a messenger on this stage. So I brought you a message, and I believe it's really important and it's really worth it to fly from Sydney, Australia, to here to bring this simple message. This is what I've learned. We do not burn out from too many things to do. We actually can handle them all. We do not burn out from too much responsibility. It's fine. We are pretty flexible. We can do it. We can learn how to do it, how to manage it. But what we do burn out from is when we constantly neglect our wishes, when we constantly do not choose ourselves, when we constantly prioritize, I need to do, I must do, or even someone asked me to do, over I just want to do, and I feel really happy when I do it. This is what I've noticed. And when I realized this principle, I had been completely burned out myself, actually. I just left a position of a CEO of an international global nonprofit organization. I was in terrible physical condition, and I had nothing to lose. This is when I thought, why not to try? Do everything that I ever wanted to do in 1 month. Why not to stop postponing things for the future, for my retirement, for, someday, or just write down a list of things I always wanted to experience and immediately start executing them. Surprisingly, most of them are really easy to execute, I should say, because when I started my list, it was 30 points in the list, in that list. So I just realized that it's an enormous pleasure to go to the cinema in your pajama in the middle of the week, for example. It brings you so much joy to start writing a novel when you feel like you want to start writing a novel. It brings you so much happiness just to do these simple things without, an additional thought. You just start to do this. And some of my wishes were trickier. I wanted to launch a family business. I wanted to write a book. I wanted to become a TEDx speaker. What I decided to do that month, that I'm not going to postpone these ideas as well, but I will do the very first and very simple steps toward these wishes, and I will see how it goes. As some of you know, all the 3 wishes actually did come true. And what I realized as well, I started working probably twice as much as I did as a CEO, but at the same time, working on my family business, doing the day job for my Australian company where I work at the moment, consulting the businesses and helping early stage startups as a mentor, being a mom, educating my puppy, and also buying a home in Australia, our very first home. It wasn't really challenging. Yeah, it was challenging, but I did not burn out. I really started being immune to this. Why? Because every single night when I stay awake until late, just because I needed to put together a dress for my daughter's event, or for example, when I needed to write yet another chapter for my book, I realized that this is the life I've chosen. This is how I want to live in this exact moment. And I didn't feel like I'm close to burnout. No, I can get tired, but I can't get burnt out. And surprisingly, so many people started replicating this idea in their lives. First of all, my friends, then the friends of their friends, then the friends of that friends. And by now, we have 6,000 people writing down their lists of 30 points, of 30 things that they always wanted to complete in their life. And they do it without postponing it to the next month, to the next year, or to the retirement. They just do it the same exact month. And when I get the messages, since then I got a lot of messages from these people. And when I get the messages like, I always wanted to travel, but now in this month I got my nomad visa. And right now we're going to live in Spain just because I always wanted to try it. And I thought that probably closer to my retirement, I'm going to do this. But I'm here now, and here are my tickets to Spain. Or for example, I'm a great yoga trainer, but I have never been a teacher, like a yoga teacher, but I decided that probably this month is the best time to start. Or even a lady who dropped me a message recently who bought a piano because she always wanted to play piano when she was a little girl, but her parents, they didn't support this idea. And right now she's 45. And she said, I don't want to wait anymore. It's easy. You can just buy yourself a piano. And when I read the messages like this, I ask myself one simple question. Why do we postpone things like this? What limits us? It's not too tricky, right? We can do it. We don't risk too much when we do it. And I understand. Every time you feel the same, every time you feel like you push something away just because you think one day I will do it. I really love it, but not today, probably in a couple of months. Every time it happens, ask yourself why. Because if it's your fear that holds you back, start from the small and from the safest steps you can and see how things will go. If you feel like you do not deserve it or you want too much, ask someone who loves you dearly. And they're going to say to you, you deserve it all. Or if you feel like it's not the right time or you're not ready right now, just picture yourself in that moment where you really want to get and say to yourself, what skills, what things, what steps should I make to be there as soon as possible? Start from these small steps. When I was flying here, during the flight, it was a slight turbulence. And you know this feeling, right? When it's turbulence, you suddenly realize that your life is actually pretty fragile and your future is pretty unpredictable. And when it happens, you just think, what can happen if it's all over in a minute? And I was sitting there And I caught myself thinking, if it's all over, I have nothing to regret. Because I used every single day of this precious life as I really wanted. And I don't know why don't we think about it as often as we need. I don't know why should we be set in danger to start thinking about it. Because the perfect time is now. Because life is for living. And when we think about it, without being set in danger, right? With no risks, just right now, you're sitting here, you're safe. We're all here today. But you can think of it from the point, what can I do for myself to choose myself, my actual self, and to live the life I always wanted to live? Thank you.